He's angry about mortgages. It's Angry Mortgage. He's swearing. He's cursing loud. He's old. He's opinionated. And he's been doing this so damn long. This program is about mortgages, and this is mortgage advice, but the advice may not apply to your situation. Contact licensed mortgage professionals for specific recommendations before you make decisions about mortgages. You may not agree with Ron, but if you don't, he thinks you're wrong. Oh, and did we say there is a lot of swearing?
And we're back.
We are back.
Angry Mortgage is on the air. First week of November. And it was, like a little bit of excitement, okay?
Yeah.
Ron goes to Parliament.
Yeah, all the hype.
Jesus Christ, like here I am, invited to present before the Finance Committee. It's a group of MPs at Parliament. So I go up to Ottawa, and God, it is slow. Things are slow in Ottawa.
Yeah?
I mean, it's like a very sedate place compared with Toronto. Right?
Calm and
It's
collective.
Very,
Yeah.
Very, very quiet. It's quiet. Nice place. Hey, all you Ottawa people, don't get mad at me because I said it was quiet. Okay, but it's a nice place. They have some of the same problems as Toronto. There's too much construction.
Really?
There's roads blocked and stuff, and people were telling me the LRT doesn't work. So I think, well, it's just like Toronto. Like the new train doesn't work, and like we can't even finish the train in Toronto.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started.
Sweet Jesus! I mean, anyway, I go to Parliament. It's very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta go big security naturally.
How was it? Do you feel like you were heard?
Yeah, no, listen, here's the thing, that, you know me. Like, I take the mickey out of the government endlessly, right? I'm always raising hell with the government, constantly raising hell with the government.
Yeah.
And these are, the committee's made up of all members, By the way, all you people who are saying to yourselves, why would they ask that fast bastard to go to Parliament? Jesus Christ, that's crazy. Okay, well, who gives a shit what he thinks? Well, you may be right. But I was.
Clearly, Parliament did.
But there I was anyway. At the kind invitation of one of the members, very, very good guy, Adam Chambers. And so there I was. But what you realize when you meet... So here's Ron, always beating up on politicians, always beating up on the government, like I'm always raising hell. And then you get there, and everybody's so nice. I mean, politicians can be very, very gracious people, very, very polite, very kind, very thoughtful, very nice.
I mean, they are human too.
They're absolutely humans. That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
Like we're tribal people. We're all tribal, right? So if we think that, okay, I'm a liberal, or I'm a conservative, or I'm an NDP, or I'm a Bloc Québécois, my friends in Quebec. You got to hate everybody else. If that's my tribe, I got to be against all the other tribes. But the truth is, you're right. They're just people.
Yeah.
And it was a very good experience, very nice, and there's lots of other witnesses. They did just ask Ron. Like Ron is not that important. I mean, there's lots of other witnesses, and it was a good experience for that. Also for that, there was a lot of people involved in, housing for people who need housing. Like
it's nice to know that they're actually thinking about it and they're talking about it, and it's,
they are. They absolutely are. I mean, let's face it. In the polls, like affordability and housing is number one. So if you want to hold on to your seat as an MP, you think about, we should do something about this. People are excited. Let's try to help out. So it was great for this. There was lots of other witnesses, and Jennifer Keesmaat was there. Jennifer is Toronto chief planner. And she's one of the great experts in North America on urban planning, and very smart person, very, very qualified. Had a lot of good things to say. And Jasmine Tour represented MPC. Shout out to MPC. MPC was there doing their best to forward mortgage brokerage for everybody in Canada.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people from nonprofits, which is good too, because, all that we think about in our business is mortgages and real estate, right? But there's
That's not the reality of everybody's life.
Not the
right?
reality of everybody's life. Yeah. And, people, you got to, it's good to hear from people who say, look, we got to take care of the people who really need to be housed.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good stuff. And, I think the government is thinking about this stuff hard. But I don't know if there's a totality of urgency.
Well,
yeah, I get it. Here's no. Don't get me wrong. I think every party has their own ideas, and if different parties get into power, they want to do some things differently. But I think the truth is that there's two solitudes in this country. There's people who bought a house before 2010 or 2015, and
they're relaxing, they're chilling,
they're pretty good. Life is good. My house went up. I read a study the other day that the price of houses from 2010 in southwestern Ontario and parts of British Columbia, the prices have tripled.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Right to you? Yeah, you look at houses. Yeah. You look at houses from time to time, townhouses and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And Jesus, that's a lot. Holy shit.
Then I think that's why the whole fear of overpaying thing is so huge, because it's you compare it to as little as 13 years ago, and it's it doesn't make sense that it's 3-4 times now.
By the way, that is a great comment. Is because that's. If you're on the outside looking in, so I talked about two solitudes. There's the people who own houses, particularly those who bought before 2015, 2010. They're not only they have made a ton of equity in their house, house has gone up so much, but their mortgages are probably smaller, much smaller.
Significantly smaller.
And then the other solitude is people who either bought in 2021 at the peak, and that ain't looking so great right now. I mean,
especially when the renewal comes around.
Especially when the renewal hits.
Yeah.
But the real other solitude is people who haven't bought. People who are on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
And the truth is, politicians, by and large, MPs, all own their homes. They own their homes already. A few don't, but the vast majority already own. And also, some of them own more than one.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them got some investment properties.
And then their kids have multiples. And then,
I can't estimate that, but I'm just saying that.
But they definitely got a nice gift for sure.
Look, it is, MPs don't actually make that much money, but most MPs, they make a decent income. I think they make $150,000 a year. Okay. But
they're most of them are two income homes, right?
Oh,
you have a spouse or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
So double it.
Well, and some of these people have come from successful backgrounds and stuff. So yes, two solitudes: people who own a home, particularly bought it a while ago, and people who don't. And that's starting to become a generational curse.
Yeah,
it really is. And we got everybody in Canada, including the people who own the homes, have got to start to think harder about that. We'll get to that in a minute. So the other thing you learn in Parliament is that everybody has their regional thing. Like their regional people are interested in stuff in their region. You realize that Canada's a lot bigger place than Toronto, because there's people speaking French all the time.
Oh, and, right. You had to have that little earpiece,
You had the little
right?
earpiece. And you know what? It's funny, the people from Quebec, and I lived in Quebec for 16 months. So I lived in Montreal for 16 months.
Ron, where haven't you lived?
I've been everywhere. Not in I didn't live in the States. I've obviously visited.
Canada-wise.
Canada-wise, I've been around. I've been around. And it's great, by the way. It's great. Everybody should see this country, should live in this country. This country is not just the town you live in. It's a huge country with a lot to offer. And I lived in Montreal for about 16 months, and it's great. I mean,
I love Montreal. It's really fun.
If you're a guy like me who clearly loves to eat. Okay,
oh my God, Montreal's food's so good.
Oh, jeez, that is a good place. And the people are great, and there's a real arts culture there, a real deep culture, positive stuff. And but they have their own thoughts. And it's interesting. Sometimes, though, their thoughts are the same as ours. The mayor of Longueuil was there. Very brilliant woman, very sharp woman, and she represents all of the municipalities in Quebec, as well as being the mayor of Longueuil. And they have the same problems we do. They have growing concerns about homelessness. They have growing concerns about expanding, providing adequate housing and expanding adequately to service people who are coming in. And it's all the same problems everywhere you go.
Yeah.
So that's a positive. So look, when you yourself in your own life are faced with, you would like to buy a home.
Oh yeah.
So
100%.
What do you think about? What do you think about? Like, what do you think about as your alternatives or your possibilities, or what are those things?
Alberta is calling.
Alberta's calling. You guys ran the right ad. That's a good ad you guys ran. I got a shout out to all my Alberta peeps. And I lived in Alberta for about 7 or 8. It was either 7 or 8 years. I was in both Edmonton and in Calgary. And smart ad, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ad.
I mean, it's really cold. Really cold.
Edmonton, you will freeze your balls off in Edmonton. I know, Edmonton, all good people. We love you, but you also know I'm telling the truth. You will freeze your balls.
Kudos to you guys, because honestly, it's really cold out there, but the housing out there is affordable.
It is.
There's that option, and then there's always an option of just not owning a home in Canada. I know of somebody who rents in Canada, right? But they own a home in Costa Rica because it just worked better for them, right? So it's sometimes you have to work around the situation that you have, because realistically owning a home here, I'm kind of hopeless just because I don't think that it's worth what I'm paying for, considering that, just 13 years ago, they were 3 times less, right? I'm not saying I didn't expect it to grow. Of course, the economy is going to grow, but to that extent that it has, I think it's too much. I just can't justify it.
Okay. Those are great points. And I have heard more about this people owning outside the country stuff. I have heard a little bit more about that. I've heard about people planning on moving to the United States as well, young people, or people who, their parents. I know a guy in Vancouver who said, look, I've pushed both my kids to get educated in the United States so they have a path to a green card. Okay?
There you go.
It's just better opportunity for them there because ultimately, the cost of a house in Houston is 60% less than the same house here. Yeah. So it's just what it is. Look, it is hard. It's tough. I mean, it's generational. It's a generational leveling problem. Okay, that we've really got to look more closely at. We'll get back to it in a minute. But a little note on rates. So we've been promising rates would come down. Rates have come down a little bit. They come down about 1/4%. And strangely, even 1/4% change, there's a little bit of a bump in business when that happens. God, folks, can you imagine how... Maybe I should quit saying folks. I sound like Rob Ford, for Christ's sake, right? Or is it Rob or is it Doug? It's Doug, right? I can never get those guys straight.
Doug. Oh my God, no.
Doug's the premier. We'll just call it Ford Nation. Okay.
Ford Nation, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about the poor gentleman who passed away. So yeah,
God rest his soul.
God rest his soul. Yeah, we'll just say Ford Nation. He always says folks. It's always folks. Premier Ford always says folks. So I got to quit saying folks. Shut the fuck up on folks, okay? No more folks. But reality is that we're in a position where rates have come off a little. 1/4% is not a lot, right? 1/4%, 30 beeps, 35 basis points. A basis point's 1/100%. And yet, people feel encouraged, and that is weird. I mean, that is a sensitivity in real estate that's damn near weird, right? 1/4% makes you think a little bit more about it.
No, for sure.
I don't know. That's odd. But hey, this is the truth of it. They've come off a little bit, and they've stopped. They've stopped coming down. That was all that happened. And that brings me to a really, really important point I want to tell everybody who's listening. When you start to hear people talk about, whether they're real estate agents or they're mortgage brokers, who start to tell you that the cuts are on the way, like the rate cuts are around the corner. Tiff Macklin, the Bank of Canada governor, is going to reduce the rates. It could be March, April. It's right around the corner. That's fucking bullshit. Okay, it is not around the corner. Is it around the corner, Tiff? Oh no, it is not around the corner. No, it is not. That's my Tiff voice. It is definitely not around the corner. It is a long way away. It is not the corner. Don't take the corner.
You should have paid Tiff a visit in Ottawa.
Yeah, no, that's a whole different building, and they ain't letting me in. Like I keep telling everybody, nobody knows me. Tiff doesn't know me. Doesn't know about me. I'm a cipher to him. But maybe a few of the security guys got my picture at the Bank of Canada. They might look out for this guy. Yeah. They see this fat fucking a suit coming by. We better make sure he doesn't let him in. But yeah, there's the cuts are not around the corner. There will be cuts someday. But here's the weird part. Tiff has a deputy Bank of Canada governor, and her name is Carolyn Rogers. Okay. And just this week, Carolyn Rogers put on a presentation where she said, hey, rate cuts will come someday, but they won't cut as much as you think. Oh yeah, she put a shiver into everybody when she said that, because Tiff showed up last week and said, "Yeah, I'll do the voice. I'll do the voice. Got to do the voice. I got to do the voice. We do not necessarily have to wait to achieve our inflation target, prior to reducing rates." Well, he did say that. So Carolyn Rogers runs out this week and says, "Hey, rates will be cut someday, but we ain't gonna cut rates to where they were." So, hey, people, remember I didn't say folks. People, the day when I keep telling everybody the days of 249 and 299 ain't coming back. Well, we've just had official fucking confirmation they ain't coming back. Right?
Do you think the 5 is the new 4s?
Good question. I think we may see rates in the 4s at some point in 2024. We'll see rates like that again. But you know what? We may never see rates other than 4s for years. Years. Okay.
Yikes. See? Even harder for us to buy a house.
Yeah. I mean, unless house prices really come down.
Yeah.
Or unless house prices come down or supply radically increases.
It's Toronto, though.
Things. It's
like,
Toronto.
Let's be realistic.
It's Toronto. Yeah, it's Toronto. Yeah, we're going to hit that hard soon. So that got a lot of attention, and rightly so. And by the way, she's right. You call the period, in economics, I like to call the period between 2008 and 2021, we call it the zero interest rate program. Because when rates are low, when you get a mortgage for like 2% and the rate of inflation is 2%, that's fucking free money. Okay?
Basically.
Yeah. So, and that's what led to this huge run up. That's why you got triple prices.
Yeah.
Was incredibly low interest rates, unnaturally low. And when Ms. Rogers talks about, hey, don't think those rates are coming back anytime soon, they aren't.
Yeah. It's just, well.
What we could be really talking about here is a systemic change based on the fear central banks have of repeating this zero interest rate insanity.
Yeah.
So
they've learned their lesson.
You can never count on it because there's new people all the time, but I think there's a shiver of fear of what happened, that they don't want to see it happen again.
For sure.
That's means people, I'll tell you what it means. It means the years of individual investors buying rental properties is going to become a lot more subdued. Because the numbers don't work, right? I mean, I know a good one. Here's a good one. Just came up this morning. Of all the condos that are on sale in Toronto right now, listed for sale on MLS, 40% are vacant.
What?
Yeah. Like, I was shocked too. I knew there was a lot of empty condos.
Whoa.
But I didn't know that number. Like, what does that mean? Okay. Well, that means that of all the condos listed in Toronto right now, and we're talking about Toronto proper, like right in the Toronto district, 40% say they are vacant today. Now, you try to put a big twist on that. Oh, well, maybe they just, before they listed, they got the tenant out. Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe fucking not too. Yeah. Maybe they were vacant. Like I talk about empty homes all the time. Mm-hmm. But maybe they were Airbnb. Maybe they were Airbnb. Yeah. And people are getting the hint that Airbnb might be fucked. Like it just might be. We know what's going on. We know what's going on in BC right now. Mm-hmm. They're in trouble. We know there's more rules in Toronto. There's stiffer requirements. Yeah. And there's a lot of little condos for sale all of a sudden that are vacant, which just backs up what we say about all that stuff. I mean, like, it's telling that 40% of these listings are vacant. Yeah.
And I guess people just don't believe that there's a lot of vacant homes because they don't see it, right? Like, I don't think there's one vacant home on my street. It doesn't mean that there's not any in the city, right?
Right. But I also know on my little street, in my little area, there was one vacant home forever, like for 9 years. Okay. Wow. It turns out they just started using it again now. Something must have happened. I don't know what, but all of a sudden there's a guy that used to come there only in the summer and he'd wear these tight shorts and cut the grass, this guy, and then he'd go away, go back to wherever he came from. He just cut the grass in the summer, then you'd never see him. He stored all his cars there. There was a Porsche Cayenne. There was there was I think it was like either a Lamborghini or Ferrari he was storing there because there was 4-car garage. Okay. And he had like a big, I think, Escalade truck. And anyway.
So is it safe to say it was?
But now he's there all the time. He's there in the winter now. Like there's cars being moved around. There's like action in that house now for the first time in like 9-10 years. There's actually somebody there now.
No way.
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird. It's the same people too. Same people. But he's moved in.
Yeah.
You never know. We don't know what's going on, but he's moved in. So 40% vacant. That's telling. And the condo listings are going up faster and faster. There's more and more of them because, if you get an increase in your condo fees and then your mortgage rate's gone up and then your renewal hits and you can't make the rent work anymore and you got to do something. Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah. And then if you use like House Sigma, for example, you can see that just a few months ago, it was $1,000 cheaper and then they like terminated and rented it again. Right. Oh, so with House Sigma, you can see like all the past listings for how much it was for.
I got you.
Yeah.
So something's going on. Something's going on in Toronto and the GTA for selling condos. Okay. The condos are hitting the market. That's for goddamn sure. Oh, you know what? I'll go back. I'll touch base back on, Ron Goes to Parliament one more time. And because I brought up my favorite subject again, which is mortgage document fraud. So Ron's been fighting fake income documents in mortgages. This has been my fight for best part of a decade. For 10 years, I've been fighting this shit.
You mentioned the good fight, remember?
There
you go.
Absolutely. And I brought it up again, and it got a lot of interest. And I told the MPs really perked up. Like heads went up when I said, you can buy a T4 on Reddit for $8.99. They're available. You get a fake T4 right on Reddit. Like it's obvious.
I think it's cheaper on Kijiji.
You think you get a better deal on Kijiji? So anyway, fake documents everywhere. All right, they're available, and the MPs like they perk their heads up. Like what? Like that's
they were probably shocked.
Thing. Yeah, they were interested. It was interesting. So I'm look. That's been my favorite thing to talk about. I fight that fight. I battle that battle. And we got support from the MP, Adam Chambers, who invited me, and he hammered those questions, and he was dead right. It's all wrong. That is so goddamn wrong. And, it's a simple cure. CRA linkage. You just...
Line 15,000.
Line 15,000. You just... Is yes or no? Is that right or wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, for the mortgage brokers who put some comments out that... I remember one woman put out a comment. She says, "Oh, that's not necessary. You just got to bring back these companies that get NOAs for brokers." I get because the CRA linkage is just lenders, just banks. So only banks can ask these questions. Brokers aren't involved. Because folks, I don't want any fucking brokers involved. I don't want it. I want banks. I want the best security systems in the world. Okay.
Of course.
If I'm going to link to CRA and say, hey, and by the way, CRA doesn't want to do fucking checks for every broker. That's ridiculous. I mean, they just want the big guys involved. So, a broker puts a comment on social media and she says, no, you're wrong. Hey, we got to go back to where there were these companies that were able to get you NOAs for brokers, and that was a good system, and that way we had all the documents directly from CRA through these companies, these companies that gathered up NOAs. Well, I got fucking news for you, okay? This got me mad because it's bullshit, okay? Yeah. Like, these companies were pretending to be tax preparers.
Oh.
Because only tax preparers can get access to my account. You have to be a legitimate, recognized accountant or a tax preparer or somebody who's licensed to be able to access. In other words, the consumer says, the person you're filing the taxes for says, yes, this person has my permission to work with my account at CRA. I'm giving him access. So these crazy NOA companies were pretending to be goddamn accountants and selling the NOAs to mortgage brokers. Okay?
Oh my God.
It was like a speed system, like get the mortgage, get the stuff fast here.
Yeah.
Get your client to sign this permission and fuck that. Okay?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Fuck that. Okay?
Yeah.
That is fucking senseless. Okay?
We don't need that. Like with today's technology, the middleman is not needed.
100%. And what the fuck? What are we giving mortgage brokers the documents for?
We don't need them. The whole point to prevent mortgage fraud is there's obviously bad brokers, right?
100%.
So why would you want to
100%.
spoon feed them essentially?
Holy shit!
That's ridiculous.
I mean, that is right. Now, no, the services say, oh, we can send it directly to CRA. Yeah, but it's not fucking right. It's just not right. Okay, the right thing is direct linkage. Direct linkage to CRA, so it's foolproof.
Yeah.
The lender, who's the one who's giving the money, they're the one. They're on the risk, right? They're giving the money. Just tell me, true or false. Line 15,000. That's it. Simplest thing in the world. Oh, then a bunch of other people said, well, I don't know. I don't know if CRA should be accessing the government. I got news for you guys. Or CRA shouldn't be, dealing directly with my bank, dudes. You gave the bank your tax documents. Yeah, you already gave it to them in order to get the mortgage. Like, I mean, let's think this through right. I mean, come on.
I use my bank login details for CRA. It's connected. It's all there. Like, it's...
Exactly.
Some people just don't know how it works, I guess.
But hold on. Like, I mean, you want that security.
Of course.
You want that bank level security.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Because I trust my bank.
Yes, exactly. Well...
As we should.
Well, we trust them to have good security.
Oh,
right?
yeah, for sure.
I mean, that much I trust them for sure.
Yeah.
So
cybersecurity, of course.
Yes, absolutely. So I don't want brokers doing it. I don't want outside services doing it. I want lenders with perfect security going directly to CRA, getting this confirmation, and then we know it's good to go. Yeah. And it would fix all income document fraud
so much.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Instantly. Okay, this is what we need. The MPs seemed a bit interested. Like, they're rational people. Like, who the hell, if you ask somebody... The average person, you okay with mortgage document fraud? No, I think it's shit. Okay, well then let's fix it. Okay, is there a fix? Yeah. By the way, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I think CRA actually has a budget. Like, they actually looked into what it would cost to set this up, and it wasn't bad. It's not like Arrive can. Like,
oh my God,
I'm $55 million for an app. Holy shit.
It's so scam.
That's in Parliament right now. That whole thing's going on in Parliament right now. Yeah, and who did you pay for this? Oh, we just paid a whole bunch of people. We're not sure who they were. What the fuck? I mean, like,
that's
Jesus
not
Christ.
what you want to hear what the government's doing.
No. It was like, they were like, I like to say they were lighting money on fire, but I got a feeling somebody got paid. Do you think somebody might have got?
Oh, 100%.
Somebody did really fucking good on that one. That Arrive can bullshit. I mean, holy fuck, that ain't good. No.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a budget for it, and it ain't $54 million.
No. there's Definitely not.
There's like a rational, totally affordable budget to do this thing, to get this system in place and fix it all. So,
can be done.
It absolutely it can be done, and it should be done, and it must be done. So, but I want to explore for a minute this discussion about the rates staying high for years. Like, by the way, when I say high, it's all relative. We got used to 2.99 for 12, 13 years, okay? But that's
months.
not... Sorry?
Months, not years.
No. We had 2.99 was
for
around
years.
for 13 years, like a version of it. Like
Okay.
Like sometimes it was 289. Sometimes it went down to 249. Sometimes it went up to 369. Sometimes it went back down again to 289.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
And
it fluctuated.
It was only actually broke through 4% in 2019.
Oh.
Fixed rates broke through 4%. I remember we just before COVID, rates had hit 4.19. Like they were going up. COVID then, boom, lowest rates in the history of the world. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you really think about it, since 2008, we've had these extremely low interest rates. So when Carolyn Rogers said that she thought those rates would stay there, we wouldn't ever see those rates again, she's right. I mean, but what effect does that have? Well, the positive effect it could have for young people is that prices could eventually grind
downwards. Yeah.
And even if rates are at 4%, if prices came off another, say from today, when they're down again, prices are coming down. Certainly in the GTA, prices are coming down. Southwestern Ontario, prices are coming down. I've heard that prices are starting to really kind of level off or come off a bit. I got intel from BC that some areas prices are down. In the Fraser Valley, they're down a bit. And a guy even sent me a note on X that he firmly believes that prices have leveled off in Calgary. Like they went up, obviously, and they're still building houses there at a good clip. But he says the prices aren't going straight up anymore. Okay, they've kind of leveled off. So
that's good.
Well, yeah. I mean, here's the thing: the recession affects everyone, right?
Of course.
Like everybody stops and thinks, "Will I be able to get a customer to buy my house?" So maybe things slow down. Everybody stops and thinks, will I be able to afford a house? And if things get bad, and it's just a natural slowing down. So if we can keep getting prices down, if prices keep coming down and rates come down, there's hope, right? There's hope if the prices come down, but the prices absolutely, they just have to come down sometime.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I said this is my decade-long pursuit that the prices in Canada are just too goddamn high.
They are.
My catch line is batshit crazy house prices that we got in Canada. I got to admit, the Americans make fun of us sometimes. You guys, your house prices are crazy. And then people online, they come back at me and they say, "Hey, the prices in New York and Los Angeles are really high too." Yeah, duh. Okay. Like
there are major cities in the States.
Like they are. They're like New York's like the capital of the world, the financial capital of Earth. Okay, like on the banking side, and then in LA, it's the entertainment capital of Earth. Okay, I mean, like sure, it's going to be expensive.
Of course.
Right? Oh, and by the way, LA, 359 days of sunshine every year. Like. Well, the first time I ever visited LA, I said, "God, the weather's good." And the guy who was driving us to the hotel said, "Sir, it's average 359 days of sunshine every year in LA. I mean, holy man, it only rains for like 6 days." The guy says, "Yeah," he says, "but sometimes it really fucking rains."
Oh yeah. It's living a dream out there, honestly.
We've been out to Los Angeles like 3 times, Mrs. Mortgage Guy and I, and it's great weather.
It is.
It's just beautiful.
It is. I went a couple years ago, but yeah,
it's
beautiful.
Great weather. It's just excellent weather. So I mean, like, I get it. Why people are maybe willing to spend a little bit more than freeze your balls in Toronto in December.
I mean, if you're paying the same, might as well have good weather with it.
Ain't that the goddamn truth? So what came out of all the stuff this week in the news is rates probably staying high for multiple years. And you know what? I think that's logical. And I think that we've got that effect going on in all central banks. I think all over the world, central banks are saying these super low rates may have been something wrong. Like, we had an emergency for too long. And COVID's an emergency. But what about the other 10 years? What about the previous 10 years? It's just too much. Because like we talked about, it's dooming a generation to not own homes.
Yeah, basically.
Sure it is.
Yeah, because it's like home ownership or start a family. Home ownership or freedom.
So, God damn it. That is so true. Like the birth rate just keeps falling in this country, you know, and folks, it's all about expense. You know, it's all about, it's too
expensive.
It's just too much.
It is.
You know, with the house, you know, if you don't own a house already and you want to have a kid, how do you have both? I mean, that's rough. And we got to try to level the playing field for the younger generation. We just got to do it. Yeah. Which brings us to our favorite part of the program.
What the actual fuck?
Exactly. And what the actual fuck is going on with the unbelievable inconsistency of planes. Let me spell it out for you. I just did some math this week. 9,400, just under 10,000 new Canadians hit the airport in Canada every week. Once a week.
Oh.
In the course of a week, not a month, a week. About 9,400 or sometimes a little more. I'm just upwards of 10,000.
Yeah.
New Canadians. These are PR card holders. I ain't even talking about the poor students who are stacked up like cordwood and houses, going to international students, like so many, going to these, some of them not so fucking great
sharing
schools.
A mattress and stuff.
Yeah, the like 8 futons in a basement. I mean, like, holy mackerel.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about them. And I'm not even talking about temporary workers. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about permanent residents. Permanent residents to Canada. Just under 10,000 a week.
And they wonder why we have a housing crisis.
I love immigration, though. Like, I love immigration. Like, oh, my grandparents are from another country. I mean, it's so important, and we have to have it, and it's just critical.
Course.
But here's what hit me just this week. Because every day, every couple of days, I'm hearing about fewer housing starts. Fewer housing completions. This week, we heard about a couple of developers might be in trouble. We talked about that last week, but it's looking really certain. Like a couple receiverships, a couple lenders have put more builders into receivership. Some of them are big projects, and other rumors flying around of big developers, not the old developers, but one big developer could be in trouble. And every time I talk to somebody in contracting, they tell me the same thing. Yeah, they're postponing the starts. They're postponing the next phase of the project. They're postponing here. They're postponing there. Because, hey, recession, builders get scared. I don't blame them. I mean, you know, you could even have pre-sales, and you could be afraid that they won't close. Okay,
Yeah.
You could even have projects approved, and you say, Jesus, I mean, is this the time, or could we just put this on the shelf for a year, see how things go? How about this one? You've got people who are opening, going around and looking at pre-sales of condominiums, and they look at what the pre-sale price is, and then they look at the multiple listing service for existing condominiums. There's too fucking big a difference.
Yeah.
In the price, right? I even talking to somebody today, told me, hey, me and my kid were out looking at a new condo to help them buy this new condo. We looked at it, looked good. Price seemed too high, It was like 700s for 700 square feet, like mid 700s for 700 square feet.
100K per square.
And then we're headed for the door, and the sales lady says, wait, maybe I got something for you. And it turns out that in the next building over that developer had built, the developer still had a few suites they wanted to sell. And it was 600 square feet. And she offered it for $535.
That's a
what the fuck happened there for 100?
Yeah.
Something really happened. The price per square foot fell like a fucking rock. So here's my bitch, okay? We're not going to build. We're on pause. Like new condo developments open. They open the sales office, and they don't sell enough to even think about opening up the project.
Yeah.
Everywhere I look in Toronto, in southwestern Ontario, and I'm hearing some of the same thing out of BC. projects getting delayed, projects on hold, projects on, we'll see what happens, but we're going to slow it down. And the 10,000 people keep getting off the planes every week.
Where are they going to live?
Well, I got a better question. That's a great question.
Yeah.
That's a super important question. I got a better question. If we're slowing down the projects, what the fuck's going to happen in 2 or 3 years? All right? Like, you got to, if you're building a condo and you push off the start date, that's 5 fucking years to build the condo, right?
Yeah.
So now we're pushing it off. It might not start for 2 years. Holy shit, that's like 7 years for the product to show up. How about
ridiculous.
It's crazy. How about a townhouse? You're building townhouses. That would take you 18 months, right? You got to like if you can't sell them, or you slow the project down, or you cancel the next phase and wait to see what happens. The 10,000 people keep coming every goddamn week. They keep coming. How fair is that to them?
No, it's completely unfair.
How fair is that to you? How fair is that to you? Okay.
Yeah.
So
We're all fucked.
we are all fucked. Okay, like it's everybody who wants to buy a house. This thought, if you just put these ideas together, that there's 10,000 coming every week, all across Canada, mainly British Columbia and Ontario. Okay, as we've talked about before, Quebec's got a restriction. They only take 50,000 a year, so that's a reasonable amount, and that's their business. But that means people come to Ontario and British Columbia. And if in Ontario, if new bills have fallen off a fucking cliff or are drifting down, and by the way, so I said the other day that I don't trust all these studies and these people who say, these reports. People say there's going to be more housing starts this year. And I said, I think that's bullshit. And one of the people grabbed my quote and said, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I love it when really some little, well, I'm not little, obviously. Take a look at me, lady. Okay. So the little mortgage guy thinks he knows more than we do in the planning office here. Like, fuck you, bitch. Okay. Like, honestly, like, I hear the real life. I hear what's really going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Like if the developer says he's canceling the other phase, you might have it on your books like it's approved, but he ain't going to build it now. Okay.
Yeah.
And every single week, 9,400 people get off the plane and need someplace to live.
Yeah.
Okay. What I'm saying is, if we don't suddenly adopt a huge sense of urgency in this country, like this housing crisis is going to get worse.
Even worse, yeah.
Worse and worse, okay? Because the folks keep coming, and I want the folks to come.
They need to come.
I believe in immigration.
Yeah.
There's nobody in this town believes in immigration more than I do, okay? For 100 different reasons, and mostly because it's fair, it's right, it's demographically intelligent, and no matter what you hear, the immigrants I know who come to this country, the new Canadians who come to this country, they want to work. They want to contribute.
Hardworking.
Goddamn
Always
hardworking.
Yeah.
And we need that. We need that so badly. So the 9,400 people come every week, and the projects are getting canceled. What the fuck is going on here? Okay.
Doesn't make sense.
We have to find a way. And whether it's municipal, federal, provincial, all these people talking about building homes. We got the province talks about building homes. We got the feds talking about building homes. We got Toronto says now they want to build 65,000 homes, for subsidized homes.
Yeah.
Great. People need a place to live.
Yeah.
Hurry the fuck up. Okay. Like, it's a crisis. It's like the people keep coming.
Yeah.
There's less houses being built every year. If we don't grasp the sense of urgency, if I'm still alive, because that's always a toss up. Okay. Come on now. I'm old. I'm fat. My idea of exercise is to go from the house to the car. Okay. That's my idea of exercise. All right. So, but sweet Jesus, if we are a year from now still talking about not enough starts, not enough completions, people are still coming, that will be awful.
Yeah.
And for God's sakes, everybody smarten up. Urgency about the housing crisis. That is the key. Yeah. We'll see you next week.
If you like the pod, well, don't just sit there. Go to YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and all the other ones and like the pod. And don't forget to subscribe so we can keep being angry at mortgages and swearing about mortgages. Angry Mortgage could use your support.